Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. I know Geeky very seldom sits in on the D&D videos because it kind of bores her, but we got some exciting news today. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Elon Musk called out Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro and said that they can burn in hell. Mm-hmm. I'm not even joking.
And it's about something we talked about. We told you was going to happen.
Well, we never predicted that Elon Musk was going to tell them to burn in hell.
It was based on something we said was going to happen because we did. That's why I'm in this video. I did the other video with you before.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. So we did a video. Gosh, it's been 6 or 8 months now, talking about.
Isn't that long?
It has been. Talking about how the marketing people at Wizards of the Coast put a 50th anniversary promotional video out, and they were like basically disparaging middle-aged white guys from the flyover states, and D&D's progressed so much since then, and these guys were just kind of ignorant, ignoramuses. I'm like, you bitches have your jobs because of these people,
right?
And they've been actively trying to scrub, and I've been covering this for 3 or 4 years now. They've been trying to scrub Gary Gygax from Dungeons and Dragons for a good number of years. And now it's come to a head because apparently that language that I thought was just for the 50th anniversary puff piece made its way into the player's handbook.
Yeah. Which I'm not surprised by. We joked, but they're going to actually put it in. I'm like, well, it wouldn't surprise us. And they did.
And they're dumb enough to do it with all the backlash and everything, so they put it in.
That's like, what was it, Gen Con or whatever? They weren't even allowed to say that. They were saying the name wrong, but you weren't allowed to say, like, if you were allowed to even come. If you were involved with this stuff, the old stuff.
Yeah. Gen Con's gotten very weird. Yeah, there were the people that actually run Gen Con, which again, Gary Gygax started. Can't even pronounce his name.
No, they were calling him the wrong name.
Gygax or something.
And then banning people that, were...
Banning people that... They actually banned Ernie Gygax from the convention because he was working with New TSR. And that's a whole nother thing. There are videos out there about that. That's a whole nother thing. But they have tried very, very hard to kind of purge the Gygax name from the history of D&D. I believe 2 reasons. One, they didn't like Gary Gygax's politics. For those of you who don't know, it's so weird that we had the satanic panic around D&D because Gygax was pretty conservative. He actually had strong libertarian leanings. He was somewhat religious, right? And we had the satanic panic around D&D. So they didn't like that. And there were actually message board threads about Gygax and how problematic he was, for years before all this, stuff happened.
Anybody was allowed to play. Anybody was allowed to make whatever character you wanted. You could do whatever. If you wanted to make a blue hair lesbian in a wheelchair character, you could have then too. Like no one was stopping you. And now the focus is that
DEI
it's DEI and the half-shaved blue hairs can't even say Gygax right. And it's like, and I think I'm kidding when I'm saying that. I'm not kidding.
You're
about
not kidding.
That was exactly what that they look like. And it's just, so when they make an anniversary book about the company they get to work for now, they completely throw the creator under the bus so that they could, pat themselves on the back about how progressive they are now.
Yeah, so let's talk about this because they're defacing another cultural touchstone here. We've seen this so many times, so many things. Tolkien and Star Wars and Marvel and Dungeons and Dragons, and the people in charge of these IPs, they get off on it. But yeah, I think that
they're touching stones. So
the other reason that they're trying to scrape Gygax off the bottom of their shoes, I believe, is about money because the Gygax family does not get royalties.
No, they screwed people over a lot.
And and there's a whole history with Gygax and Dave Arneson and all that. But let's talk about this because we actually have. Grummz put this thread out, and then I guess how it got Elon Musk's attention, because actually we had Grummz on the podcast, a year ago, talking about the situation with D&D, and we were trying to, kind of say, hey, here's where D&D's at right now, because he's more in the video game side of things.
Yeah, you're kind of explaining it to him, yeah.
Yeah, and, things have kind of blown up since then, but I'm not 100% sure, but I think Elon Musk follows him because Musk is supposed to be the top Diablo 4 player in the world, and Grummz used to work for Blizzard. But regardless of how it happened, somehow I got tagged in this thing. And
well, somehow, because you've been saying this stuff, and he's like, yeah, it's what you've been saying.
Morning. I'm like, wait, why is Elon Musk involved? I'm like, holy shit. So Elon Musk is calling him out. So I don't know what's going to happen then. But I do know that Wizards of the Coast blocked Grummz because he called them out.
Are you blocked? I'm surprised.
No, I'm not blocked. which is so weird.
You will be now. No, sorry.
Yeah, good luck with that. So well, anyway, let's talk about this.
They're going to talk about Hasbro stock and they're falling off a cliff, which you just talked about Hasbro getting sued by investors.
Yeah, Hasbro's getting sued by their investors. Check out that video because they lied about how much product they were producing, allegedly. I have to say allegedly. And this is why all this shit is just like rotting at Ollie's bargain outlet.
So this is not going to help Hasbro.
This is not going to help. This is one of the few things they have that makes money. But I'll tell you, most old school gamers have already moved on to other systems. They don't even play D&D, and they're definitely not going to after this. So before we get into it any further, we're into it pretty far. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do. Woo-hoo. Go out to clownfishminus.com. You can check out our exclusive content as well as our merchandise, guys. We got more stuff coming. Hoping to get some bubbly Steves up. We have a
handful left. I'm going to get them signed and put them up. Yeah,
we'll have to do another run of those, but we got to look for a different supplier. But if you don't want to join on clownfishminus.com, you can go to locals, clownfishtv.locals.com. So yeah, this is what's actually in the player's handbook. I guess he got from Corpse Kings. Posted this first, and they said that they're trying to erase Gary Gygax.
Which we've been saying.
And then this is actually in the handbook, right?
They were joking. They said this. They were making comments like this when they were talking with those one clip they had, and the guy was saying something like this live. But they actually put it into the book, which I'm not surprised by, honestly.
I'm disgusted. Yeah, because I thought it was just like they were talking about they wouldn't be dumb enough. No, they put it in the book. It said some of the language in the first iteration of D&D presents a moral quandary. The documents reproduce. Okay, so this is actually the 50th anniversary book here. The documents reproduced in this book include many pages of charts and tables alongside lists of monsters, spells, and magic items. But the game content also includes a virtual catalog of insensitive and derogatory language.
This sounds like a warning before a movie. Is this like a preface before the thing that you might see? It was one, the 70s. And two, a lot of stuff's fine, just you guys have your tit in a ringer about every little thing. Sorry, that was my father. That's a dadism. Anyway, go ahead.
Words that are casually hurtful to anyone with a physical or mental disability who happens to be old, fat, not conventionally attractive, indigenous, black, or a woman. Or all the above.
Wait. You're mad because it's hurtful. It could be hurtful to people who have disabilities, who are fat, who are old, who are not conventionally attractive. Oh yeah, the indigenous black people were women too. And I'm like, but people didn't care for years. And a lot of the customers that you don't want are in those categories too. They're older. They're probably not skinny. A lot of them probably aren't conventionally attractive. And they didn't care.
They didn't care.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who are attractive too. I'm just saying. People have been playing for years, and it wasn't an issue until now because you all hired these people who get pissed off about any little thing.
And this is which is so stupid. And this is to celebrate the 50th anniversary of D&D, right? By tearing it down, and also they had the warrior, the warrior in the most iconic, probably the single most iconic piece of Dungeons and Dragons artwork ever. Larry Elmore had the painting of the warrior with the back to the audience fighting the red dragon. Everybody, even people that don't play D&D, know that piece of artwork. It was on the red box set from the early 80s. And they're like, oh, finally, we're going to have a face reveal of this character. And they made it a black woman. And Larry Elmore's even like, no.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because the DEI, they're running with DEI. So they're putting this warning thing ahead of it because it might trigger you in this book. You deserve everything you get because if you already didn't lose your audience, you're going to lose them after this shit.
Some people have charitably ascribed this language to authors working from bad assumptions. Charitably. Charitably.
The 50s isn't now. The 70s isn't now. Hell, 10 years ago isn't now. And I'm hoping to God 2 years from now isn't now.
In the 1970s, historical wargamers in America were predominantly white, middle-class men.
So a lot of them were younger people. They weren't even grown. Okay, whatever.
So it isn't surprising that they would dub a class of soldiers the fighting man. But when in the pages of Greyhawk, they only mention Gygax in here. When in the pages of Greyhawk, the description of the Queen of Chaos Dragons includes a dig at women's lib, the misogyny is revealed as a conscious choice. It's a
joke. I think it's a joke. Like the fighting man, you say like the working man. It's just mankind. That's what it means.
The misogyny is revealed. It's an unfortunate fact that women seldom appear in original D&D, And when they do, they're usually portrayed disrespectfully. Actually, I actually replied to this thread. I replied and I pulled up some of the old marketing material.
Yes, because women did play it.
Look at that. Look at the women. Look at the women.
But a lot of girls did. And a lot of girls who played these kind of things went on to make video games and other things too. They would start out and this kind of stuff and went on to play video games. But y'all step over that because you got to break the glass ceiling. You didn't break anything except for maybe your bottom line. Your stupidity is showing. Tuck it back in, please. I don't want to see it.
Slavery.
But do go on and tell me, a woman, what I should think. I can't wait.
This is why we can't have Dark Sun in anymore. Dark Sun was, you would know, but Dark Sun was a campaign world in the early 90s that was kind of like if you mixed Mad Max with Dungeons and Dragons. But slavery was a big deal in it. It was a huge plot point in it.
Was it listed as glorified or was it listed as something bad?
No, it was just a fact of life. Like most of the characters, most of the NPCs were going to be slaves because it was a brutal desert world and they had slavery. And it was
they're not saying it was right.
No, I didn't say it was right, but it was kind of the backbone of
Let's
society.
be honest here. If we had a situation like a Mad Max situation, that probably would happen.
Yeah, well, you look at Beyond Thunderdome and stuff. And it was kind of that. We had gladiators, and it was a very tough campaign. And the creator of it actually came out and said WotC would never do it these days. They would never do it. Slavery appears in original D&D not as a human tragedy that devastated generations over centuries, but as a simple commercial transaction. The cultural appropriation of original D&D ranges from the bewildering, like naming every 6th level cleric a llama, to the staggering gods, deities, and heroes not reprinted in this book include game statistics for sacred figures revered by more than 1 billion people around the world.
Wait.
So they had Vishnu. You're supposed to kill him and get
wait. But every cleric's a llama. So what? It's like, some of these things that they made up, like names that they put in there that you use today.
You become a furry with a llama face.
Well, I'm just saying, like, like there's a lot of, that Tolkien did too, but they used it also. Like there's a lot of characters that you just accept as like fantasy characters today that they kind of made up names for and stuff. And then you're like, well, we're going to appropriate that because we don't like the way it was called. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to change orcs because somehow people think they're black people, except no one thought that but you. This is stupid.
Please note the rules for fantastic medieval wargame campaigns that make up the original D&D were created by and sold to a wargaming community that was almost exclusively white middle-class men.
Not true.
Well, the original rules, yeah, but once it became Dungeons and Dragons, once it got outside of that, they marketed it heavily to everybody. And this is in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s.
Right, but they keep spinning it that only guys played it. And it's like, and that everybody's excluded. That if you were different, you were excluded. Not true. It wasn't true. Like, you used to play with people all the time. And, people didn't, like you said, you had football players coming in and playing with you guys, but you had to not tell anybody you knew them. But you know what I mean? Everybody was allowed to play.
Yeah, we always, almost every group I've played in, we've had at least one girl playing. I mean, it's...
Nuh-uh, that's not true.
To reiterate the disclaimer, Wizards of the Coast includes on legacy D&D content. These depictions were wrong then, and they're wrong today.
This is called cover your ass so you don't get sued.
Yeah,
they weren't wrong then. When it came out, it was fine. Until like 10 years ago, it was mostly fine.
Now, this is the...
I'm sure there's some exceptions, though.
The 50th anniversary material, the guy that was in charge of that, the guy that was in the video, I think they shit-canned him. I'm pretty sure they did. I'm going to tell you the truth. At the end of it, where Hasbro is going right now, none of this is going to matter because they're going to turn D&D into a shitty mobile app, and they're not going to give a shit. But it is really awful to have them use the 50th anniversary and use it to disparage Gary Gygax, Dave Arneson, all the people that worked on D&D.
They didn't even name them, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, now Robert Kuntz, who I covered him before, he's one of the last remaining OG D&D authors. And he's actually getting in on this too. But so we talked about this. Grummz kind of lays out, and I guess he had a conversation with Rob. We talked about it before too. Put this in there, and then all of a sudden, here comes Elon Musk. I wonder why Elon Musk.
Yeah,
was
he's
in
all
there.
excited because Space Daddy.
No, I was confused as to why all of a sudden I had a bunch of notifications of Elon Musk. Elon Musk says nobody, and I mean nobody, gets to trash Gary Gygax and the geniuses who created Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, they think they can.
What the fuck is wrong with Hasbro and WotC?
We've been asking that same question for several years now.
May they burn in hell.
Hasbro's in trouble. Because
Yes.
Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast. Now, Hasbro stock has been in a shitter. Hasbro's trying to double down. The Magic stuff and the Dungeons and Dragons, they have them both. They're trying to double down on their versions and their stupidity. During the pandemic, it had an uptake as people were home. And then afterwards, we went back to work and it's gone down. But they also have been really pushing these, like, you know, the coffee shop, barista, the college prom, and all that other crap.
Mexican orcs with families and they're kinder, gentler.
Yes, right?
You know.
They keep promoting this stuff. And people are, like, not buying it because they're like, this is bullshit. They keep trying to perpetuate these narratives and stuff. They were putting stuff in landfills because they overproduced. And then, you know, now they're getting sued by investors. We've been telling you Hasbro is in trouble for a while now.
Yeah.
They're looking for a buyer. They've been.
If anybody's going to buy D&D, it's going to be Tencent.
That's what I was looking into it before.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen, though, because I think Hasbro might be like, no, wait a minute. We're going to license out I think before it's all said and done, Hasbro's just going to license out D&D. I think they'll be like, hey, if you want to spend all the money and take the chances on making tabletop games, you know, Paizo, if you want to make D&D, you can make it, because they got their asses kicked hard over the last year or two, especially where all this D&D stuff, especially the Dragonlance like board games, they were all at Ollie's. Like, nobody's buying this shit.
Then they tried to do that stupid thing where they were going to take your stuff too. The OGL debacle. That was that. They set the Pinkertons after somebody over. Was it Magic cards?
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Like 2 weeks early, they got a box of Magic
and it
cards
wasn't their fault.
No, the vendor apparently sent them the wrong.
It was probably a mistake.
Set. And this has happened before. Like, I know when we talked about with the Star Wars DVDs, like the street date was one date, but they were out like a week before because, you know, the retailers get them early and they just put them out.
And back then it was more common than now, but you know, you might grab the wrong one out of the wrong case. It wasn't a big deal.
But they made the mistake, I guess, of streaming them opening this box of cards.
Most people would have.
Then the freaking Pinkertons show up at.
I would have told them to get
house.
lost. I was calling the police.
Through line Sue again. This is Rob Kuntz who said, "Yeah, it's a pregnant compliment," and put down at once. Thank you, Elon, as the last surviving original D&D designer and Gary Gygax's student. Your sentiments mean all the world to me and to hundreds of thousands of gamers who carry the torch. But yeah, it's really interesting. Like I said, we started covering this. I know something was wrong because I've been playing D&D since I was.
Yeah, you were dungeon master and everything. So we've been talking. We talked about it.
At least 3 or 4 years.
You especially, because we've been watching the decline in real time because it's really been. And you got mad. You like unloaded on one video. I remember you like were screaming. You were pulling at me.
Yeah,
you were so pissed off.
Yeah, when they decided that they were going to have like freaking prom and sing-offs and whatever.
Yes, it was like college. I was like, what the hell?
It's so cringy. Like D&D, official D&D is so cringy right now. But yeah, what happened? How I knew. I mean, I kind of had a feeling that the tabletop scene was very, very woke. But I didn't realize how bad it was until I tried to get our kids into playing tabletop, and we got into D&D. I'm like, God, this doesn't seem quite right. I want to go back to the older rules, so I'm like, okay, I'll go check out. And I don't want to put this guy on blast because he actually quasi apologized. But there was an OSR set out there that I went out. I had somebody recommend it to me. I went out and bought all the books. For it. Very reasonable on Amazon, and I was teaching the kids how to play that. And I told people, I said, you don't have to play Wizards of the Coast D&D. You can go buy an OSR set, and here's one I recommend. And then they jumped this guy because I dared recommend it. And then that's when I really knew. I mean, this was probably 4 years ago, 5. That's when I knew that this scene is just completely broken.
But they're doing what they usually do. We see this all the time with everything. Now animators are doing it because they're pissed at us about unions. They basically, if anybody that's been around for a while says, oh, hey, I like this, and they don't like that person or that product, they sit around all day waiting for the. I don't know if they have like bots checking for like the words to pop up or whatever. But as soon as you do, when someone says, oh, I think this is right, they descend upon them to learn them the truth, which is their truth, because they always said their truth anyway, and they try to just cause all kinds of problems. And I'm like getting sick of it. Take your stuff and shove it up your ass. I don't care. But stop, like, just because a lie is not true just because you keep saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. So there we go, guys. I don't know. I mean, so now I know what the narrative is going to be. We're recording this pretty early, but I'm sure it's going to be like, Elon Musk just sent Gamergate the alt-right after our beloved Dungeons and Dragons that we hated last year because of the OGL debacle.
You know, one thing that gets me about that real quick, too, you're probably right, is that it used to be really inclusive. Like anybody wanted to play could play. Like they keep making it like you couldn't. And that's not true. If you wanted to make a character that was like what you want, you could do that. You didn't need special, instructions. You didn't need special books made just for you. You could just do what you wanted to do. Pretty much is how it was. And anybody was welcome. It didn't matter. Everyone was pretty much same with Star Wars. They keep spinning it that women were kept out. No, they weren't. Anybody was welcome who wanted to be part of it. And that's how it was until these people decided they wanted to control it. They wanted to gatekeep it. It wasn't gatekept. They used that lie to get themselves in there. And then after they get in, they're the actual ones who are gatekeeping. They're the actual ones who are discriminating, who are bigoted, who are istophobic. They're the ones who are out there locking it down and shutting people out and telling them they can't come in unless you'll kiss the ring and do everything they say. They're the ones who are gatekeeping and behaving that way. And acting that way. And they keep trying to spin it that it's the other way around. No. You're doing it, and that's why everybody's leaving you. And you deserve everything you get because you allowed this behavior to go on. Yep. So you deserve what you get. The gatekeeping, the misandry, misogyny, the sexism, all this shit is these people now. Under the guise of inclusion and diversity. Bullshit. I'm sorry for swearing, Mama. I told you I'd do better. Okay, bull crap. Bull crap.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.